Hello YouTube, it's me Femshep, and this is the video I've been hoping I would be able to make for a whole freaking year. This is your guide to Modern Marisa's buffs in Season 3 of Street Fighter 6. And I'm going to start by going through some of the changes to Street Fighter systems overall that I think are indirect buffs to Marisa, and then I'm going to go through all of the changes to her kit specifically, and including the modern specific stuff, and quick notes on what we don't get access to since it's still unavailable on modern. So without further ado, let's get into it with Ryu, who, by the way, is really scary this patch. That's not what we're here to talk about, but don't rule out me dropping my Pocket Modern Ken and learning a Pocket Modern Ryu after CEO. That is a distinct possibility. Okay, so system changes. First of all, Perfect Parry is harder to execute now, and Perfect Parry is one of the best defensive options against Marisa in this game. Previously, if you tapped Parry within the 2-frame window of getting hit by a move, you always get that screen freeze and significant frame advantage. So here, for perfect parrying even the uncharged stand heavy punch from Marisa, Ryu is plus 23. He can do literally anything he wants. Now, in order to get a perfect parry, you not only have to tap parry, but if it is a low, you have to be holding down back when you tap parry. And if it is an overhead or something that is considered a high, a mid, you have to be standing and tapping perfect parry. So as a result, people are not going to get their perfect parries quite as often if you make them guess between whether it is going to be a low or a higher hitting move. And this is significant when so much of Marisa's stuff is reactable with perfect parry. In addition, obviously throws are a problem for Marisa, and previously, if you got knocked down by a sweep, you were unable to back roll, and it meant that they could potentially just walk up and throw you for free after that knockdown. This applies to every sweep in the game, but we're just going to use Ryu. You see, I'm still able to back roll there? This is if I don't back roll. This is if I do back roll. You can now back roll a sweep knockdown on normal hit or counter hit. It is only a knockdown where you cannot back roll if it is a punish counter. You see there, I can't back roll? Because it's punish counter. So if they like punish your sweep with a sweep, punish something really big with a sweep, then they stay in your face. But otherwise, they no longer get to continue free mid-screen throw pressure on Marisa from a sweep knockdown. In addition, some characters' throw loops just became harder to execute. I don't have the complete list because I'm still hearing a lot of back and forth as people figure it out, but I know for sure Ken and Rashid's corner throw loops are now a lot tighter. People are even saying that Ken's throw loop is actually a 1-frame window to do it correctly without getting jabbed out of it. So there are several characters with oppressive throw loops that are potentially less likely to go for that throw loop as a default in the corner all the time, because the throw loop is harder to execute. And the last system change buff is a little hard to explain, but I am just going to have Ryu here perform a specific sequence. In this situation previously, he could go for a shimmy in order to blow me up for guessing that he was going to throw. So if we then record Ryu actually doing a shimmy after that, previously, even if you were mashing throw there, he would be able to walk out of it. And the best way to call out a shimmy a lot of the time is to have a really good cancelable low, like Ryu's crouch medium kick, that would catch them walking back. But Marisa doesn't really have meaningful lows. She doesn't have cancelable lows really either. Modern Marisa certainly doesn't. This is low, or sweep is low, but other than that, and those are either, this is very stubby and sweep is very committal. You can charge sweep to get the proximity guard and prevent them walking back, but they have so much time to react to you charging that in their face, it's not really a meaningful way to call out the shimmy. Now, if you throw immediately, after you are put in that situation on block from a drive rush light off the medium kick drive rush cancel, the throw will catch the shimmy even when you think the character would be able to walk out of it. So now let's just watch this again. See, he walked back immediately after that. But I can now call out the walk back with an immediate throw. If he delay tacks my immediate throw and tries to be really big brain, there's also a system change that the person who techs a throw on defense gets a bar of drive meter back. So there's going to be kind of an interesting mini game going on there. But it is significant in my mind that if you think they are going to shimmy as Marisa off of a drive rush light on block, you now have a meaningful call out with throw despite other characters' walk speed being so much faster than hers. And I think that's definitely notable. That is it for system changes. I am now going to get into the changes that are specific to Marisa, and man, I am so excited. For starters, previously, Marisa's jabs on block were actually interruptible. If you were doing a chain like this, and they mashed their own crouch light punch in response, it would trade. It wasn't true. Now, if Ryu mashes his crouch light punch in response, you win. And this isn't only significant on block either. Oh, also applies to the light auto combo with crouch light kick. And this is actually kind of cracked on modern Marisa because your light auto combo auto hit confirms as well. So you'll see if he just blocks and doesn't mash, you'll never get your quarter circle back light. And it is impossible for a human brain to confirm that a single light hits into a special. There's no way you can react to just this fast enough to know if you should do this or not. But on modern, even if only the second light hits, the auto combo hit confirms. So this is actually a significant buff to modern Marisa's light auto combo specifically. This is not something classic Marisas are going to be able to do off a single jab. Now, the improvement in the frame data of her jab isn't only for strings on block. This is also very significant off drive rush cancel. And I've talked before about how Marisa's medium punch target combo does not have any safe enders other than drive rush canceling into a light like this, which is a true string, no gap. If he's mashing DP there, it doesn't come out until after the drive rush into light. Now, previously, both the drive rush into this and the drive rush into this were the same situation. And that is, I am only +1 after the drive rush into crouch light kick. So if he was stand blocking, I would have caught him and I would have gotten my knockdown off the combo. But if he actually crouch blocks it, if he blocks that drive rush crouch light kick, I am only +1. And without getting too into the weeds, in order for your throw after a blocked light to be real pressure, you need to be at least +2. Otherwise, if they mash a jab, it will beat your attempt at a throw, which you'll see it still does off the light kick. You can see it's beating my attempt to throw there. But now, if you go into the drive rush crouch jab, you are +3. This is a real strike throw shimmy mix for Marisa for the first time ever, which means her safe ender off the medium punch target combo actually allows her to continue her pressure in a meaningful way. Because if he mashes there, your throw wins. Or if you do your light auto combo, that'll also beat mashing and likely catch him walking back as well. Or if you think he's going to do a delay tack, let's delay his throw by 4 frames on block. You can blow them up with a shimmy as well. So you have a real meaningful strike throw shimmy mix off of that drive rush light for the first time ever for Marisa. This is also significant on hit though. It's not just beneficial on block. On hit, you are now +8 off a drive rush crouch jab. And that is significant because even not off drive rush, if it is punish counter, so say Bison misspaced a scissor kick, or Ken misspaced a Jinrai, something where you need to use your crouch jab as a punish. Previously, on punish counter, this only comboed into your medium punch target combo, like this. Which requires you to spend 2 bars on the OD Dima in order to be able to continue your pressure. And that's really expensive off something that started with a light, which scales the damage very significantly. But now, because you are +8 here, on punish counter, this combos into back heavy punch, which as long as you can do a quarter circle back heavy, which if it is possible for you physically, I strongly recommend learning how to do. I'm really glad that I learned how to do it. Then you can actually combo like this. Which means you don't have to spend any meter to get a combo that does like 25% of their health and gives you meaningful Oki as well. And that also means that if you do the entire string of this and you weren't sure if he was going to block it and put you in your +3 situation or get hit, and you confirm while it's happening that you get the hit, then you no longer have to spend a stupid amount of bar to continue your combo with medium punches. Before, it would have had to look like this. And look how much bar you spent when you already spent 3 bars on the drive rush cancel. That's just not teenable. So really the best thing you were able to do before was this. And like, that's not bad or anything, but it is so much better that now you can go into back heavy punch as long as you can do the motion input. You have so many more options without spending an excessive amount of meter. You don't have to spend any more meter to go into heavy Dima and its potential follow-ups. So the crouch light punch buff, I think might actually be the best buff she got on this patch, and she got a lot of buffs. Now, one of the things you can do off of that unpunished counter, as I showed a moment ago, is that you could go into your heavy Dima, into charged heavy punches. This heavy punch target combo, that is this, charged or uncharged. If you notice something about the frame data on the bottom there, that is +42. 42 is the magic number for a safe jump, which TLDR, if you're new here, a safe jump is a situation where if you do a jump attack but are holding block behind it, if they mash, they get hit, but if they do an invincible reversal, you have time to block. And that +42 applies grounded or airborne. +42. +42 in the juggle as well. It's even still +42 if they blocked and then attempted to mash on block and only got hit by the second hit. Even though he only got hit by the second hit, that's still +42. So this is a legitimate corner safe jump setup for Marisa that doesn't require you to spend any meter to set it up. Her corner safe jump previously required you to do your drive rush back heavy punch in a juggle into heavy phalanx like this. And that requires you to spend a bar on the drive rush, and more importantly, the input is challenging. I still drop it maybe 15-20% of the time on this side of the screen, and despite busting my ass since the game came out with my dyspraxic input challenges, I cannot do it at all with any degree of reliability on the player 2 side of the screen. So I've just been playing without access to a corner safe jump after I start my combo like this. Now, if you also struggle with the input, or even if you just want to save the meter and not have to drive rush, safe jump. That is huge, and I'm just going to demonstrate that it works real quick. Safe jump. This is huge for Marisa in general, but especially for Modern Marisa, and especially for those of us who play Modern Marisa because of challenges with motion inputs. And of course, off any safe jump knockdown, you can always alternate your pressure. The best answer to a safe jump is usually to perfect parry. If you think they're going to perfect parry after your safe jump, you can just empty jump and throw them, or empty jump and command grab them as a hard call out on the parry. If you think they're just going to try to stand block because they think the jump in is coming, you can empty jump, not hit them high, and go for the low. Or, my personal favorite, any plus 42 knockdown in the corner, you can frame kill this into a fully charged stand heavy punch that beats mashing, which means this works. I am so excited to have access to a safe jump reliably without spending meter on either side of the screen. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. Next buff. I can't believe I'm saying this. Quarter circle back medium, which notably is simply back special on modern controls. Modern already kind of had a buffed anti-air game because of Light Gladius being one button, but Light Gladius is very finicky about range, and it's very punishable by empty jumps especially. Medium Dima got significantly improved anti-air properties. I tested and it can beat jump-ins and empty jumps. It can beat dive kicks if you're really preemptive about it, and you get juggle combos at a lot of heights that were previously only possible in niche Gladius Fireball or a DI trade combo situations. So I have Ryu here set to do a jump in attack from round start range. And as you can see, you can actually anti-air with this now in a meaningful way. And potentially get a juggle at a lot of heights as well. The range is still a little bit finicky. Marisa is not a DP character. She is never going to have a strong anti-air game that a DP character has. But I honestly think this might be better than if they just buffed Crouch Heavy Punch. Look at this against empty jumps as well. Oh, there he jumped behind me. But as long as you catch it at the right range, this will even catch the empty jump. And again, if you get them high enough, you get your juggle. It does lose pretty hard to cross-up jumps. There's no way to beat that. But she has a slightly better answer for cross-ups than she used to before that I will get into a little bit later in the guide. To also demonstrate it beating a dive kick at some ranges if you are fast enough with it. So I think this is going to be pretty nice. I, for one, am excited that I feel like if I am aware of the ranges at which I am standing, I have a meaningful anti-air that doesn't require me to gamble on Gladius armor and is especially strong on Modern because it is still one button. The next special move buff is the Superman Punch, the almighty Phalanx. This more reliably is not getting clipped low during its startup frames. Its startup frames have just generally improved to not be so easily interruptible. Something I noticed, it's possible this already existed before the patch, but I'm just going to include it regardless. Obviously, one of the ways to beat Phalanx is that you can jab her out of the startup. If Ryu were to jab there, he gets a hard knockdown. Marisa like floats for a second and he gets a combo. Now, if he is mashing jab when he sees the Phalanx come out and you do knee into light phalanx, which has to be manual. Modern phalanx is medium, but knee into light. That happens. You get this weird full screen trade, and you're both just 0. In the corner, you're still both 0, but you don't get knocked as far away. And that forces him, if you're going to use light phalanx there, to either perfect parry it or DP it. Because if he were to DP, even heavy DP, then that would still beat the phalanx. He can jab you out of medium phalanx there. But, interestingly, because medium phalanx can go over a lot of fireball supers, if he instead tries to super in that gap, which is hilarious. Against burnout, the knee into light phalanx is a block string, and you need to do a heavy phalanx instead of a medium phalanx to beat the same super. But I just thought that was interesting, so I wanted to make sure I included it. The big deal is that this just goes over lows, like, way more reliably. If they're throwing out a crouch medium kick, like, really close to you, she's a lot less likely to have her toes get clipped and the Superman punch never come out. A good example of this is actually going to be against Cammy's crouch medium kick. And that's medium phalanx, too. Where normally I was forced to attempt to manually input the light a lot of times in order for it to manage to go over the lows. But you are getting clipped, like, way, way, way less often now. Way, 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 way less often. And even the dreaded, the horrible, you've seen it, you hate it, Juri Fireball. Obviously, if you're close enough to just get hit, you're gonna get hit. But if it's like approaching you, it's no longer impossible to Superman punch over it. You see, it's like very nearly at Marisa's toes and she's still going over it. We were getting hit there before. And this matchup, don't get me wrong, still absolutely sucks for Marisa, but it at least gives her a tool to somewhat deal with one of the most annoying aspects of it. On block, if they block your now actually real jab chain, and they want to catch your walk back after that with the crouch medium kick, Phalanx is also likely to go over the crouch medium kick there, where it was not before. Look at that. And that is with the medium Phalanx too, the modern Phalanx. We were 100% getting clipped there before. Even if you only do, let's have her only do on 2 jabs this time. Still going over it. And let's just try it with 1 for good measure. And that punish counter Phalanx always gets you double dash Oki into a real 50-50 between knee and command grab. So punish counter Phalanx is a really, really good knockdown. And it actually is beating the lows that it hypothetically was supposed to be all along. There are also a few character-specific nerfs that benefit Phalanx. In particular, Juri's crouch jab. Well, actually, wait, no, this one is more of a benefit for Gladius, but it still comes back to the Marisa dealing better with lows thing. Juri's crouch light punch, previously, was for some reason registering as a low, even though it's not a low, so it was beating Gladius. Now, if I'm charging Gladius, oh, it's not a low anymore. It actually registers as a mid like it's supposed to. So Juri can't just autopilot her crouch jab in this matchup anymore. Another character-specific nerf about lows, this one actually does benefit Phalanx, is Terry's Heavy Fireball has been changed. So now you can actually meaningfully Superman over this without getting clipped on the way up. So that's nice, because Terry's a bit of a pain in the ass. The last character-specific nerf I'll talk about is more relevant to Gladius than Phalanx, but I still think is a really nice quality of life change for Marisa. They made this change mostly because of Drive Impact, but it also benefits Marisa. Previously, Rashid and Akuma are the only two characters in the game whose ODDP is triple hitting instead of double hitting. And since OD Gladius only has 2 hits of armor, you could not beat their DPs with OD Gladius. At best, you could time a slight charge to get a weird trade that had extremely limited reward and was pretty much still in their favor. But now, it's only 2 hits. They removed the triple hitting DPs from Rashid and Akuma, and now you can do this. Akuma's is a little weirder to punish, because for some reason the charged heavy punch will go the wrong way. I saw somebody punish it on Twitter by just doing that. So that's an option. If you don't actually charge it all the way, you just like tap it to beat the DP. But you like barely charge it and then hold back. Now I can't even replicate it. My preferred way to punish this, because of the charged stand heavy punch largely going in the wrong direction, is either charged crouch heavy punch starter or just uncharged stand heavy punch like this. And then you can get a juggle or like so. Moving on to Marisa's supers. Oh, happy day. Did our supers ever get buffed? So let's say Ryu is throw looping you in the corner. Previously, if you did your level 1 super there, level 1 super is throwable. If you charge Marisa's level 1 super now, it will beat the throw. So it actually, the charged version will now beat strike and throw and give you a more real defensive option to negate that guess in the corner. And interestingly, you get actual Oki off the situation where you charge level 1 their throw loop in the corner. Those are all if he back rolls. If he doesn't back roll, the crouch medium punch is a much better option. And also notably, the drive rush light punch there would actually be safe to wake up drive reversal as well. But that is not the only thing they did to buff level 1. Charged crouch heavy punch is now super cancelable, and it will combo into a fully charged level 1 off the cancel, like so. I have Marisa here set to flash blue in the cancel window because it feels a little weird to be learning this initially, and somebody else might find it helpful. Right where she flashes blue, at the peak of that charged punch, you can start charging your level 1 super. Like so. And this means that you can actually get more damage off of your DI wall splat situation, where before we were doing this. That's 3464 versus 37, 32. So you can actually get more damage off of her corner wall splat situation. Mid-screen, anywhere that you could do a fully charged back heavy in your juggle, you can also just do this. And where the fully charged back heavy would only be able to combo into uncharged level 1, like this. You can combo into full charge level 1. And get even more damage. The funniest place that you can use this is actually a DP punish in the corner. You have to micro walk forward a bit in order for all three to connect, but look at this. No drive meter spent, 46% damage. That is absolutely ridiculous. And that is not the only super that got buffed. Level 2 super also got buffed. Oh boy, did it get buffed. In particular, it has improved hitboxes to reduce how frequently it whiffs, and you can adjust its range by holding back or forward during its startup. Which means it can go really, really far now, and it's gonna be extra scary on Modern, where you can do that on reaction. This goes round start distance, where if I'm not holding forward... Wait, does it just work round start distance regardless? Wow, you don't even have to hold forward. They buffed its hitbox significantly. So you can just catch fireballs at round start distance by literally just launching the raw level 2, which is crazy. At closer range, if you want to beat them trying to jump out of your pressure, it's now a meaningful anti-air in a lot of situations where it wasn't before. You still gotta be careful with the spacing. Like, if I just launch this raw, even though I'm holding back to do the shorter range version, you could still get weirdness. But it's possible to anti-air with it in places where it wasn't before. As you can see, it's still a bit finicky. I don't love it, but I'm seeing people have success with it on Twitter, in particular against Bison's Devil's Reverse, which is really annoying for Marisa to deal with. So, experiment. I think the biggest buff to level 2 is that range buff, and the fact that it can punish a fireball on reaction from so far away without you needing to spend level 3. That's crazy. Alright, on to the final Marisa buff, and this is Modern specific. And this is a universal change for all Modern characters, and that is that we now have access to all 6 of our jump-in buttons. Previously, jump light was jump light kick, jump medium was jump medium punch, and jump heavy was jump heavy punch. So, now, your jump-ins, if you just jump in normally, jump light is jump light punch, jump medium is jump medium punch, and jump heavy is jump heavy punch. Because those are the best for dealing with air-to-air situations. The air medium punch target combo has long been established as a solid anti-air for Marisa, but the fact that she now has jump light punch and not just jump light kick is actually significant, because jumping back into a light is Marisa's best way of dealing with cross-ups, and jump light punch is 4 frames, where jump light kick was 5 frames, which means it's likely to actually win in that situation a lot more often. Obviously, cross-ups are still a weakness of this character, but it does slightly improve her ability to deal with it on Modern controls. You still have your now other 3 jump-in buttons, the ones that are less air-to-air and more so offensive, if you hold auto in the air when you press your jump in. So jump light is jump light punch, but if I want my old jump light kick for my cross-up, if I'm holding auto, I get my jump light kick. Likewise, jump medium kick, which from what I can tell is a pretty useless button that I don't see Marisa's use. But the big one is that now we have jump heavy kick instead of just jump heavy punch if you hold auto. And this catches things with horizontal range in situations where I was finding often that my jump heavy punch would just whiff. My go-to example of this is baiting a wake-up drive reversal in the corner. It's possible sometimes to get it with a jump back heavy punch, but the range is finicky, and there are a lot of situations where it'll like just barely whiff, whereas the jump heavy kick has so much horizontal range. And punish counter jump-ins are plus enough that if you react immediately, you can combo into your knee, your forward heavy kick. So in situations like this, I definitely want to get more used to being able to take advantage of that horizontal range and get something like this. To close this out, what are the Marisa buffs that Modern didn't get? And those are stand like kick buff. It pushes them back less than it used to. They are still quite a bit closer to you. Not a super relevant button anyway, not a huge loss. The notable loss is that Marisa's crouch medium kick is now +3 on hit instead of +2. They did add scaling, 20% scaling to combos that start off of it, but that means that off of drive rush, even without counter hit, Marisa's drive rush crouch medium kick can combo into her medium punch target combo. Having a better low is good for a character that is so bad at dealing with walk back and doesn't have many opportunities to meaningfully threaten low other than this or the charge sweep. And unfortunately, Modern Marisa does not have crouch medium kick. She only has crouch medium punch. Also, any new combo routes that include the Spartan kick, particularly the OD Spartan kick wall splat, we still don't have the Spartan kick special move on Modern, so we can't access those. But overall, to summarize, system changes. It's harder for them to perfect parry us reliably. We can back roll after a sweep unless it was punish counter. Several characters with frightening throw loops now have harder to execute throw loops, such as Ken and Rashid. If they do a drive rush light on block and we immediately hit throw, that throw will beat Shimmy. Crouch light punch is now a true string on block. On drive rush cancel, we get an actual strike throw shimmy take throw situation at +3. On hit, we can now combo on punish counter or off drive rush from crouch light punch into back heavy punch, quarter circle back heavy. Heavy punch target combo is now always +42 grounded or airborne, which means it is a safe jump in the corner. Do your pressure accordingly. Medium Dima now actually functions as an anti-air in a lot of ways, which is pretty significant. Oh, I also neglected to mention, for whatever reason, this was not in the patch notes, but Marisa's light quarter circle back, which does have to be done manually and is a very finicky anti-air, can now be canceled into level 1 or level 2 or level 3 super when used as an anti-air, which is really weird. It's hard to use as an anti-air anyway, but it's kind of a cracked conversion. I think it's a bug and they'll probably fix it, but I just wanted to mention it offhand before somebody in the comments says, you didn't mention that. Medium Dima is a much better anti-air and it might potentially buff our anti-air game in a meaningful way. Phalanx more reliably beats interruptions on startups. It's going over lows, it's going over Juri Fireball, it's going over Terry's Fireball. Akuma and Rashid's DPs no longer beat charged OD Gladius. Level 1 super beats throws. Fully charged level 1 super combos off a fully charged crouch heavy punch. Level 2 super has improved hitboxes, adjustable range, and can punish fireballs from round start distance on reaction. And we now have access to additional aerial normals, most notably jump light punch to beat cross-ups and jump heavy kick as an offensive tool. All told, I think this is a really, really good patch for Marisa. I think this moves her at least to middle of the pack instead of broadly considered bottom 1. I'm really, really excited about maining this character again, and I hope you are too. I hope this was helpful. Leave your thoughts in the comments, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching, and I say with more confidence than ever, when in doubt, Gladius. Femshep out.